Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday, about noon here on the East Coast, October 15th. I didn't want to bother you, but I just couldn't let this pass up. There's some outstanding discussions that I want to just really thank Teresa, Melanie, Ernia, IPEC, Shandi, I believe also contributed. And it's regarding Module Five's talk. And Teresa made a point about lying and being very transparent that going to Walt Disney World, I guess, maybe out in California, Walt Disneyland, um, she was tempted to lie about the age of her children to get a discount, okay, because the prices are, I guess, exorbitant, the admission fees. And it kicked off a bit of thinking in discussion thread 5, but I don't think it got enough coverage. I think the post came a little late. But in discussion 6, it's come up. And I'd like for you to take a look at the thread. You'll find Melanie made some outstanding observations. Melanie did a really good job. I really appreciate your observations. Ernia, IPEC as well. Let me just talk about lying just a little bit. Teresa raised it. We've all lied. I've lied, not too long ago either. Okay, we all lie, whether it's a white lie or not. Regardless, we lie. Okay, if we follow Kant, that's an absolute no-no. We should never lie, right? But we do. My mother during World War II was a World War II Italian nurse. She lied to the Nazis to protect Italian Jews from being taken and, possibly executed. Those lies would be deemed moral, if you will. But I'm not talking about those kinds of lies. I'm talking about the lie that Teresa kind of fell into. We have all got our integrity tarnished. We're not perfect, okay? So for those of you that have fallen into an ethical trap, such as lying, it's okay. We can get you out of there. Don't think you are necessarily a sellout, okay? The first thing is to acknowledge that you lie and try to understand why, okay? In Teresa's case, she rationalized it through. She understood why. It seems like it was for a selfish reason, but one where she felt there might have been equity involved, that she deserved some type of quo for her quid, right? But do you lie to protect others? I mean, the white lie type of thing. So first understand why you're lying. And I'm thinking about all of you, I hate to call out names, but Crystal, why do you lie? Gary, why do you lie? Professor Dom, why do you lie? Ask yourself why you lie. Secondly, ask yourself how often do you lie? Is it a routine thing? Do you maybe tend to lie to certain people, like your parents, okay? Or maybe your spouse. Honey, why'd you come home late? Oh, I was working late at the office, and she doesn't need to know, but so is my secretary, right? Do you lie over the same actions that you commit and that you're trying to hide? A lot of self-reflection about lying. So acknowledge that you lie, because you do, or you have. Assess how often you lie, under what conditions, to what people, and try to then assess how you feel after you lie. Do you feel guilty and remorseful to the point where you try to, do better the next day or the next time you find yourself in that situation? Or do you feel guilty but then, kind of rationalize it away like it's no big deal, Disney charges too much as it is, so they cut me a break on some meals or whatever, and then you just go on your merry way. Okay? Or do you become, as Melanie writes so eloquently, desensitized to the lying, where now it's like, who cares, you know? Hey, I got away with it. Because what you want to ask yourself is, do you believe it's wrong to lie? Now, we're not talking white lies. We're talking about lies that you gain from selfishly, hiding the truth from someone. Okay? Think about that in your public service, because in the next couple of papers, there'll be ample room for you to discuss this, how you can improve your deliverables and your work products, and what actions you can take to become more virtuous and more of a moral public servant. We're seeing lying from the White House down to your house. It doesn't matter what color you are, what religion you are, what political persuasion you might follow. Lying is cancer. It's everywhere. It doesn't discriminate. But what we know it does, it destroys. It's corrosive. You've got to stop it. Because if you don't, it only gets worse. The reason I'm concerned putting this out is Teresa really raised a great point, because if you find yourself being an habitual liar, some people can tell. The ones that can tell are other liars, okay, because they use the same techniques, maybe the same cliches, the same facial movements, the same body language. And what I'm concerned about are the sociopaths that identify you as a liar, such as a CEO or a mayor, a leader. They're looking, these sociopaths, if not worse, like a psychopath, which is quite dangerous actually to be around. These people look for people who lie, even about little things, because they know if they can get you to lie over something small, and they get to know you and befriend you, know some of your other intimate details, they got you. Matter of fact, I went to an ethics conference here in Virginia a few years ago, and the young man giving the presentation spoke about how CEOs who try to cook the books are looking for chief financial officers who are in their early to mid 30s and maybe early 40s, and they want to climb the ladder. They want that promotion. They want that new Mercedes Benz. You know, they want the bigger $1.2 million house. You know, they want the trophy husband or the trophy wife, whatever it might be. They look for people like that because they know they can manipulate them to have them commit fraud. It happened at WorldCom. That was a big one. Enron, it also happened. It happens everywhere. So my concern for you is, in public service, we have many egotistical leaders, so-called leaders, okay? We have many who are hidden all throughout the United States in different positions. That's why I say many. You think about the $70,000 to 80,000 state and local jurisdictions. I forget how many local jurisdictions there are, but they're into the big numbers, right? You know you're going to have bad people around. You know you're going to have liars around. I'm concerned for you because if you don't get these weaknesses identified and under control, others will exploit them to your detriment, unfortunately. Okay? One way to avoid, and we're using lying as an example, to avoid falling into that temptation is to not put yourself in that situation. So, for example, if you know the admission fees just irk you to death, okay, and you're just upset that Disney is charging what they're charging, don't go to Disney, okay? Go to Universal Studios, all right? Go to MGM. Go somewhere else. Avoid the situation. If you're going to a bachelorette party, I'm going to stop right there. You know what I'm going. or a gentleman's club. Understand what that temptation is going to be, right? Now, for those of you who are single, maybe it's a different story. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to not live life, okay? I'm just telling you to be careful and to make sure that you don't put yourself in a situation where you can actually even be possibly blackmailed, okay? Now, you may say, oh, that'll never happen. That's so weird and rare. Oh, yeah? Okay. You haven't lived long enough again. There's a current story about the Washington Commanders, which we'll not talk about the NFC East at all, okay? Except that the Giants' offense is looking really good this season. Let's hope the defense could speed it up a bit too. Dan Snyder, the owner, has dirt on other owners. They're trying to oust him. And so the point is, it exists everywhere. And you need to avoid situations that can put you or make you vulnerable, okay? So another thing to do, avoid excessive debt. Don't get yourself into a lot of debt, folks, because that's a marker sociopaths and others look for to exploit. Be thankful for what you have. If you always go to work complaining about, this is miserable, life sucks, oh, my husband does this, my wife does that, understand you're sending out signals to these sociopaths or these liars or these corrupt politicians, whatever you want to call them, right? Corrupt CEOs, that your integrity might be for sale. You might not intend to. Now, if you intend to, go right ahead, okay? And you know what? You'll be successful, at least in the short term, all right? I can tell you stories about when my wife worked on Capitol Hill at the Senate, how the young people would come in dressed a certain way to lure politicians, just that culture, So if you're into that, but if not, avoid it. Avoid these places. And the last thing I'll leave you with is, some of you are envious people. Some of you are jealous. And that's going to get you in trouble. Okay? Don't look to what other people have. That's all a veneer. That's all a facade. Okay? Be thankful for what you have. Okay? Know your weaknesses and biases. Stop repeating the same mistakes. And don't put a for sale sign on your back. Because if you do, somebody's going to buy, and they'll probably buy you cheap, and at the end of the day, you're going to be returned back to the inventory shelf as damaged goods. That's what's going to happen. Mark my words, okay? Those of you, you can scoff at me all you want. I've seen this play out time and time again, okay? So, thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Melanie, IPEC, Ernia, Shandi, those that contributed to this discussion. Go and read it, folks, all right? Have a great weekend, and if you don't watch this until next week, enjoy. I might put up another video regarding Module 7. We'll see if you need any guidance or intro there, okay? But be well. Thank you.